Yeah, I think a lot of younger generations think that this is old looking and, we might think that, but then once they play it, it's actually the same thing. It's a brand new game for them.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tetris!
My name is Haven. I'm a classic Tetris player. I've been playing for maybe just over 3 years. I haven't maxed out. I maxed out like maybe a year and a half ago. I was like maybe the 200, and officially I think I'm like the 260th. A max out is when you score 999,999, so 6 nines in a row. When the creator of Tetris, Alexei Pajitnov, created it, he was like, you know what, if we have 6 digits of scoreboard, it should be enough.
It was thought impossible just a few years ago even to play on the kill screen, and now players are literally playing on it long enough to break the game.
But then it turns out that it wasn't enough.
Okay. Double. And it is.
At the exact
Simul max out. Eric.
And like you could easily, well not easily, but a lot of people managed to like exceed the score.
Andy didn't top out at all. He had 13 in a row, so he's flawless at 13.
Classic Tetris was released in 1989. It's an old video game, ancient, especially if you compare it to the modern versions of Tetris. Here's what modern Tetris can look like. And here's a classic Tetris. Despite being obsolete well before Haven was even born, the game's popularity has been on the rise since the late 2010s. What's so special about classic Tetris that it's stuck around for so long?
I think with retro gaming, even though like you would expect it to be mostly old people, like people who played it when they were young.
See, I can play this game. Come on, guys, I can play this game.
But like there's a lot of like new kids coming into retro gaming.
I was actually surprised. So there's people from 5 years old to 70 years old.
Tetris World Champion, 16-year-old Joseph Saley has done it.
Dog, 13 years young, is the classic Tetris world champion.
Younger gamers especially are recognizing that the medium is nearly 60 years old. And it's their opportunity to go back in the past. It's almost a bit of paying respect to the gods of yore.
Even though they have maybe not very great graphics and they have like really bad 8-bit audio, but there's a certain style to that. There's a certain aesthetic to that. But it's also just recognizing that like these are timeless games that hold up even to this day. The competitive scene only started in around 2010 when a few players decided to think, how are we going to determine who's the best player? So they tried to determine who's the best player by inviting a few of them to play together. There's a movie on it called Ecstasy of Order. The first few years after that, they would do a world championship every year, but then the competitive scene was rather small. As people started to figure out how to capture their Tetris screens and then be able to project it online, some videos got really viral, and that really exploded the scene from there onwards. Yeah.
There it is! Boom! Yeah! Jeff, neck and neck we are again.
I think when the streamers got involved, it legitimized the passion. So what streaming did, like it did for so many other bits of culture, is it mainstreamed it. Not by making everybody love it, but by giving everybody an opportunity to get involved and see it.
Or could this become something else and become like esports, basically? So you're enjoying watching someone play it. One day you might want to try. You might want to get an NES and get a CRT TV and play Tetris. It actually helped us learn much faster, even for older games.
Tetris is about if you had to organize their storage unit in 10 seconds, right? That should be your thought. Every person will be different. There's no definitive way to do it.
So what you really go to look for is whether the actual Minos are square.
Man, anyone who plays NES Tetris, especially if you're a DAS player, you owe it to yourself to at least try learning this. Because
I think a lot of people started watching Tetris because of the final match between
Jonas fighting against Joseph. The moment I watched the video and I got amazed by how it was different than the modern Tetris I used to play.
Right. Let's see where he goes with this. It's gonna be dramatic no matter what.
Where's the long bar? There's no long bar. The long bar.
No me jodas. No me jodas. Jonas está fuera. Joseph puede remontar 100,000.
Yeah, I started playing Tetris here and there after school, after dinner, and just playing all day till now, yeah.
What made competitive classic Tetris popular, I think, was the fact that this community was able to present classic Tetris not just as a boring single-player game, which you stare at the screen, but it was an exhilarating game where you go against each other.
People were always mesmerized by watching people play Tetris at that level.
This is so tough. I mean, heroic survival here. Just below the next box.
21, 18, 15, 12, 9, 2.
This is not what Tetris is intended to be. The creator, I don't think, ever expected this game to be a multiplayer game. But I think that's a theme which is found throughout this game, the players taking a game further than what the creator initially thought it was. Retro gaming really survives because of the people. I wouldn't be sitting here if Dixon or John, they're not doing the retro HK stuff. If we don't have people like that really trying to make their passion a reality, then retro gaming isn't going to really exist.
I'm trying to kind of gather all these fragmented, groups or communities. For example, the CTWC, right? The Classic Tetris World Championship. I brought it in Hong Kong and kind of opened the Hong Kong stop.
To max out in competition, that's the first one in a kind of a live competition. That was history right there.
We were blessed with the presence of Jonas and also Corian from Japan, really showing the people in Hong Kong how Tetris can be played competitively and how it should be played. Retro game is a language for us to communicate to other retro gaming communities. Or I can't even compare our community with the ones in North America, for example. That would be like the mega headquarters of competitive Tetris, right? But we're trying, and I think we've successfully grown our communities, at least slightly, with the effort of all the players.
They've always cheered each other whenever who's got a new high score or beat the world record, something like that. And that's the reason why it keeps me going.
Yeah, as much as we can, we try to get people together and just play Tetris.
Compared to a lot of the other people, I'm not that great of a player. There are a lot of people these days who can max out a lot, as in they get a few million points a game and they're really pushing the game forward. But yeah, I'm just trying to chase them.